This week, it's all about the fairing. Welcome to Hack-A-Week. Well, here we are with part 25, and just a little update on those donations. They are coming in thanks to all the people who are helping me out to acquire a CB 750. I just missed a 78 CB 750 the other day. I missed it by 12 hours. Too bad, because it would have been the perfect bike. But there's another one out there right now I'm looking at. It's a 76. It's kind of a bastard CB. Bits and pieces from other years thrown onto it, but it's all there, and the price is right. It's only 400 bucks, and no title. That's a bit of a problem. So trying to get the guy to get in touch with me with the VIN so I can run a check on it, make sure it's not stolen, all that, see what my options are with getting a title. I'm really reluctant to pick up a bike without a title. It can be a real pain in the ass, and you can end up basically stuck with a big pile of parts with two wheels under it. Anyway, let's get started on this week's stuff. The fairing, we're going to do some modifications to that. As I talked about before, I want to make that front end look like the intake of a F-86 Sabre jet. And I got some foam I just picked up. I got to laminate it together just like I did for the tank. Only this time I'm using white EPS foam. It's a little lighter weight and a little bit easier to sand. So let's laminate some of that up right now. And of course, the fairing has to come back off to do all this work, yet again. You know, I think I might add to the sides here a little bit as well. This area, I could mount the signal light right to the fairing, and I could bring this section of the fairing all the way back to here, in fact. I've got quite a bit of room there that I can still work with. So I may just bring it back here a little further just to give this a little bit more body, a little more substance to it, kind of balance things out a bit. See how that lays in there. I've got the curve to deal with, but that's close, and I can just glue it in there with some epoxy, I think. Okay, got a piece of plastic here so that it'll peel up later in case I get stuck to the surface a little. Let's get some fiberglass resin painted onto the fairing. And then I'll take one of the pieces of foam here, put it in place, and just press it down. I can see about where it's going to hit the foam. And then I can put some on the foam to help get it to stick. Now remember, this is EPS foam and epoxy resin. You can't use polyester resin on EPS foam. It will just dissolve and melt. And you'll have a big mess. Okay, pretty generous portion on there. Rubber gloves on here. This is a bit messy. Okay. That's the spot. I'm just going to put a pail of drywall mud on there. Something just a little heavy. Should do the trick. I need to get this on the front of here, but I need it to contour into this part right here and sink onto there a little bit, then adhere to it, then I can shape it and get that lip I want. So how am I going to do that? Well, here's how I'm going to do that. Got some 60 grit paper here, and I'll cut it into some strips about that wide. And let's see, let's cut it into probably thirds, something like that. And then what I'll do is take some spray adhesive, spray it on here, spray some on the back of here, stick these all the way around, and of course I'll be able to pull it back off later. But then I'll have basically a sanding block right in the shape of the thing that I need to shape it to. Flip it over onto here and pretty much just go like that until it sinks down in far enough. Pull all the sandpaper off, get some epoxy on here, put some epoxy on here, and stick it to it. Alright, that takes care of the sandpaper being applied. Now comes the tricky part. Now initially this is going to be a little hard to hang on to, I think. I'm going to have to get it started. That's going to be the hard part. I think I'm going to call that good enough. Okay. Now we squish it in there. See, we'll just weight it down with this maybe. Does that fit? Yep, that's good enough. Just set that on there. Let it cure up overnight. It's a nice brisk 50-degree morning here in North Carolina. Seamus is all hunkered down out there in the pine straw. And I'm here in the shop with a drawing of the F86 Sabre. And I'm going to do a profile cut on this fairing now that I've got all the foam glued into place. Use some of the similar techniques I did on the seat. That nose profile right there is the one I want to cut into the fairing. So I just opened this up in Adobe Illustrator and reworked it and enlarged it to where it's up to a proper scale. These lines here just give me a dimension of about where the thing should lie on the fairing left and right, and this is just a reference for the front for level, so it'll taper back quite a bit right there. So that's the side profile, and then I took the top profile and scaled it up, same thing. So I'll make a couple of templates for these, similar to what I did with the gas tank and the seat, and lay them alongside that foam, get out the hot wire cutter and slice this baby up. Then we'll get shaping it a little bit and fiberglassing. Got the template all lined up. Looks like I did a pretty good job of eyeballing that profile. I think that's going to work out just right. Look at that. All right, let's cut that sucker. think I'll have to come in from each side and stop at the bottom. Wow, pretty close cutting there. Well, this bottom part where it's hitting the fairing. Okay, there we go. All that work just to get that piece on there. But now I can shape it into the fairing and we'll end up with something that looks like an F86 intake when I'm all done. Well, that's a pretty damn good start, I'd say. That looks pretty good. That's happening. It's looking just like the F86 front end. Well, there it is. Can't say as I like it a lot. That straight line running down the side right there. That sucks. Sometimes stuff doesn't turn out like you think it's gonna. And actually, I think that is friggin' ugly. So, well, you know what? It's easy enough to take that back off. Just like that. Oh, wait a minute. I got everything just kind of sort of half-assed stuck together here with no fasteners really holding anything. So let's see what that looks like. Well, you know, it's a little better. God, I don't know. I just don't know. I'm so back and forth on this friggin' fairing thing, you know, and the paint job and all. I just really don't know if I'm going to keep that. I may, in the future, put a bigger fairing on, an old style fairing, like the kind that swoops way down, you know, like comes way down like that and covers your legs and stays stationary, and you can turn the forks inside the fairing. The fairing stays stationary with the rest of the, yeah. Damn. I don't know. Let's pull it off and take a look. So, yeah. Naked bike look. I don't know. I think I'm gonna just forget about the fairing and finish this sucker up. Yep, I think that's what I'm gonna do. I don't know. That fairing just kind of sucks. I've never liked it a whole lot from the beginning. I've been flip-flopping on the thing like Bill Clinton. So I think I'll leave it off. Let's just go naked bike. Yeah, I think so. So no more fairing. Whatever shall I do about the wind? I guess I'll just have to duck down more. I kind of like it. It looks better. It's a nice naked bike look. It's a nice old school retro cafe racer look. And I think I'll stay away from all that BS airplane thing and airbrush work. I'll save the airbrush for another time. I just want to get it painted. So I'll probably go back to what I originally had decided on, which was orange, red, and white. Some kind of a theme on that. And get the sucker done, because that's really all that's left is a paint job. A little more sanding, a little more paint. We'll be doing that next week. Right now I think it's time to go for a ride. So, till next time. So thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.